Greetings one and all, and welcome once more to Channel Other Doc. I am Jim, your friendly Lacuna GM. I use he/him pronouns, and this is the finale of our current phase of our Invisible Sun campaign, The Edge of Paradox. Invisible Sun is a surreal slice-of-life game by Monte Cook Games. We're integrating the directed campaign, but most of this game happens spontaneously. Let's go ahead and go around and find out who everyone is and who they're playing. And we shall begin with Djinnaya. Hello.
Hello. My name is Djinnaya, and I will be playing Shah Gamelan, an established gallant of the Order of Makers who cages adversaries. And both Shah Gamelan and I use she/her pronouns.
Awesome. And now let us head over to Wilde. Hello.
Yes, hello. I'm Wilde Engineer, and I am playing Shantano, Oh no. I just realized what I forgot.
Oh crap, there are sentences!
They are a apostate who splinters into fragments. That much I remember right now.
Awesome. No, that's totally cool. And now let us head over to Arras. Hello.
Hello, I'm Arras, or Animus Panthera, and tonight I am playing Aroshka Ruzik, aromatic empath apostate who converses with everything. Her pronouns are she, her, and mine are she, they.
Excellent. And now let us head over to Anino. Hello.
How's it going, everyone? My name is Anino. I use he/him pronouns, and for this campaign, if I remember correctly, I play Mac the Husk, the formerly itinerant enthusiastic of the Order of the Goetica who provides a vessel for spirits.
Awesome. Also, thanks very much for the sub. And now let us head over to Danielle. Hello.
Hello, I'm Danielle. I use she/her pronouns, and so does my character Vormeravanus, aka Vor. Vor is a connected ardent of the Order of Weavers who shepherds minds.
Excellent. Now, like we do with most games on this channel, we're going to be using the X card, the N card, and the O card. If we hit something that's crossing a line for one of us, any of us can type an X in the Zoom video chat or anywhere else, or make an X symbol, and we'll back up and do something else. If something happens that we're okay having in the game, but we don't want a graphic description of it, we can type an N in the Zoom chat and we'll fade to black on it or put it behind a veil, so it'll be there, but we won't go into detail. Finally, if we're exploring a topic or an area of roleplay that's particularly intense for us, but we want to keep going anyway, we can put an O in the chat to let us know that we're all okay and that we're all good to keep piling on the drama. Something else we can do is put an O with a question mark after it when we're moving into a difficult topic, or we say or we do something and then think, maybe that might have been a little too much. Then everyone else can respond to that again with an X, an N, or an O to let us know if we're still doing okay. And now we return to an interesting little thing. Last time we had a situation where they had foiled a ritual being conducted by the Church of Midnight, members thereof, on the church, whereby they were going to throw one of their own number off the train and do something with a silver urn to try to make it work. In the process, but they had just foiled that, and there was just one individual left who didn't know anything. They interrogated him a bit, and then they just basically told him he was very bad for doing these things and not to do that. And then they threw him off the train. Then they went forward to the engine to tell the engineer that this had been dealt with. They told the engineer that the Vespertine was involved, and this caused the engineer to panic somewhat. So they then left, having alerted the engineer to the situation. And then there was a scheduled stop, 6-hour layover, in a delightful little town called Carmanth. It's about 15,000 people. Nice sort of weird sort of spiraling thing up and down this series of hills. And they found that, being the avid brunch enthusiasts that they are, they sought out brunch at a peculiar fondue place called the Enigma. They managed to Vor managed basically to do that thing where you read someone's mind, and was able to read the mind of the maitre d' to find out what number he was thinking of, so that they could be let in, because that's how that one works. And they happened, as it happened, they also managed to landed at the exact right time to take on the main cuisine challenge, which involved going in and setting up their meals by putting different ingredients into a giant hourglass. The ingredients they put in, as I recall, were stone and wood and a smaller hourglass. And what they came out with was a scene of a scene out in the wilderness at about twilight, a distant sun setting over a lake, them with a campfire over which hung some segmented cooking pot, and they had a number of different skewers all around, with a bunch of different things that they could partake of the different skewers being color-coded to the different suns. And so they would put meat on the skewers, meat or vegetables or what have you on the skewers to do stuff with. Also fruits you could put on there. So they had those, and ingesting meat from those skewers resulted in something of a sort of a positive experience with relation to something personal involving that sun. Then there were also different goblets arrayed around, also of each of the 8 different colors of different suns, and there were there was wine, and you pour the wine into a different goblet, and then you have a bittersweet thought or recollection that is tied to that sun in some way. And then there were also these individually wrapped chocolates in the shapes of hourglasses that you could then also these foil wrappers being in the different colors of the different suns, and you could melt that down, the chocolate, in one of the segments of the pot, and dip something in, they're like a fruit plate and such. They could dip into the chocolate different things to taste the melted chocolate, and the taste would be something incredibly immediately satisfying, but also revelatory, rather in the way that one rips off a Band-Aid. But good and ecstatic because it's chocolate. And then there was a cheese plate, which was just a cheese plate, basically. You can put the different cheeses in, melt them down, dip the different things in cheese if you want, or just eat the cheese. Because cheese, And they had different sort of things occur to them as this happened. And as now each of the 3 things has been tried, 2 different things are going to happen. The first thing that's going to happen is that as the sun sets, a gateway appears at the edge of the lake, this shining gateway. And before it, on a rock, is a plate of mince. The second thing that happens involves Shaw. So Shaw had, as absent characters tend to, had gone into the gray. You're going to be popping back in the middle of the enigma. So I kind of would like to know what is this transition like?
That's a good question.
If you like, I can draw a card if we would like some if we would like a prompt.
That has never gone well for me in the history of this game.
What's your favorite mechanic?
I think that yeah, wait, can I interpret the card?
Yeah, actually, for this one,
draw
yeah.
a card.
Okay. Because this is telling about your life, so this is...
That's true, that's true.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and draw a card. I've gone ahead this time, and I actually have... I know I have stopped doing this for a while, but since we're picking right up where we left off, I went ahead and redrew back to the third spot, which is where we were on last time. And let's see. Oh, interesting. Okay. This perhaps tells us more. So... the card, what we've drawn, is the driver. This is the Seven of Mysteries. It is the Defender of Mysteries. Its meanings are impetuous travel, forward motion, speed. Always moving forward, sometimes there is no other recourse than to simply get away. Escape is often the best option, and the best escape is a quick one. Like a shark, the driver can never stop moving. She's always racing ahead, always moving forward, making sudden, abrupt turns down new avenues without warning. They say that it's not the destination that's important to the trip. Well, if that's true, the driver does it best because ultimately she has no destination in mind. It's never the point. The point is speed, motion, and the ability to change one's mind from second to second, yet to do so fluidly and flawlessly. The driver is the defender of the Mysteries family. She protects by enabling others to get away. She carries them to safety, always moving forward. In divination, the driver indicates an upcoming trip. It suggests that speed is important, but that most of all, it says that one should keep moving forward. Ostensibly, forward means toward one's goal, but there's an impetuousness to the driver that suggests, at least sometimes, that the best way to get where one's going might not be straightforward. Straight toward it. The driver moves in quick turns to get around obstacles and befuddle those who try to follow her. What do you think this means?
Well, so in the Gray Shaw's dream world, she is a military EMT. And I think that you guys are in like a wooded area, right? Is that where the space inside the Enigma? I think that there's like the sound of kind of crashing through the trees of like a very large vehicle driving through the trees, and then one of the trees like flies open, like doors fly open in it, and inside you see like a glimpse of like the interior of an ambulance, and Shaw looking completely not like herself, like just in basic military fatigues, pushing a gurney out as it like claps down to the ground and jumping down and pushing it at a run. And as she's running, The clumping of the boot sort of turns into the clanking of her metal shoes, and her uniform turns into this like cage that she wears, and the gurney sort of shrinks, and you see her look really confused and frightened as the gurney shrinks down, and she like rolls up, and she has a cart with tiny little glasses of after dinner brandies. And she looks around and she's out of breath. She goes, Did I arrive in time?
Perfect timing. Thank you, Shah. And Vor's gonna pick up one of the brandies.
I've never thought that brandy would be an emergency, but here we are.
Yes, here we are. And she'll grab a brandy and shoot it back real quick and kind of like jingle the cage at her waist to make sure that the Vespertine woman is still in it.
Yep.
And then be like, did I miss anything?
There was a bit of a odd challenge, but it led us here, and the food's interesting.
Oh,
So there's that.
oh, that's good.
Help yourself.
Oh, thank you. She'll grab a little bit of cheese, sort of look around nervously for somebody to indicate. Is that the next room in the challenge?
Well, there's mint, so I'm wondering if this is the end of the meal.
Oh,
You know, sort of an after-dinner mint kind of thing. Are the mints on the tray like also different colors for the different suns?
They are not.
Oh.
They are all the color of mints.
Okay, Vor's gonna eat a mint, which probably doesn't really go with brandy, but Vor's gonna eat a mint just to see if there's something weird about it.
They're like
Isn't
those.
brandy a dessert wine?
Yeah, the mints are kind of like those Andes. So you know they canned chocolates, so that they've got the. There are a few different varieties of them down there. So you've got regular chocolate, dark chocolate, and then you have white chocolate, and you have like there's a strange sort of thing involving strawberry. And so I mean there are a few different varieties of mints there, but it's mostly just they are not themed.
Okay, Vor's gonna eat like one of the more adventurous ones, like the strawberry one.
Okay, you eat the adventurous strawberry mint, and there is, for a moment, you hear in your head as you consume the mint, the time has come to face the enigma. You will each have the opportunity to pass through the portal and receive. You each have the opportunity. Let me be careful how I say this. You'll each have the opportunity to pass through the portal. Select someone. Anyone you know. And the idea of them will appear. You may ask them any question, any one question. And a response will materialize. The more personal to the asker the question is, the more likely you will receive an accurate response.
It said the idea of the person?
Yes,
So
not yeah.
actual person.
So,
Okay.
yeah, they're yeah.
Because
Wait, it can be anyone?
Anyone you know.
Oh no. Do they?
I will relay what the voice I heard, assuming it was just talking in my head because I ate a mint. I will relay what
Yeah.
it said to the others and be like, so we all get to ask a question then.
A question of anyone?
Anyone we know. They said the more personal, the better.
Do you think it can be a compound sentence?
That feels like it might be 2 questions. I don't know I don't know how stringent they are. And I'd say someone should go try it and then let the rest of us know, but I'm not sure you're going to be coming back here.
It does look like a very final gate.
It does, yes.
Mac just stretches in his chair and then hops back up. And without any hesitation, he walks through that gate.
So just out of curiosity, do you grab a mint on your way or no?
Yes, he will grab the white mint.
Okay. You pick up a mint, and that means you're able to pass through the gate. because you have a mint. So who is Mac thinking that they would like to see?
Pre-war Arras.
Pre-war Aroshka?
Oroshka, sorry. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to ask a question really quickly. Well, so actually, yes, this is easiest for me to ask this as a question. So, appearing out of the darkness, you will see Aroshka, and I'm going to ask Arras, how does this person look?
Well, past Aroshka was very serious, like super serious and more like power suits all the time. So, current Aroshka dresses more like a modern witchy aesthetic, so it's a bit of a different look.
Yeah.
And it's just very like severe, like makeup, outfit, the whole 9 yards, stands like stock straight, serious expression.
Now, something I am going to point out really quickly is that because this version of you asked for this version of Aroshka, and because this version of Aroshka appears, that means that you knew pre-war Aroshka.
Yes.
So that is somewhere in your history. But right now, there she's standing there in the darkness. Right now there's no environment as of yet. And she's just standing there staring ahead. She's not actually doing anything right now or behaving as a living person.
Mac will approach. So you always struck me as someone who just knew how to get things done. My question to you right now is, what would be the best way to destroy Dark-Eyed Manfred?
I'm going to... Now, here's how this works. So you're going to... The scene will change, will shift, and you'll actually start seeing things around you. I'm going to draw a card. Interesting. Do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do. I have drawn the harvesting spider. It is the two of mysteries. Its meanings are action, labor, and stealth. I think we've had this once before. Spiders are many things: builders, weavers, caretakers, but also hunters, killers, and blood drinkers. The harvesting spider cares for her young, but at the expense of what she harvests. And that might just be you. She is stealthy and sneaky. Her many footsteps are silent, regardless spiders never stop working. They build and create to serve specific purposes. In divination, as terrifying as the card appears, its meanings are more esoteric, but still significant. The always active spider signifies action. Act immediately. Work hard. Success can be had, but only as a result of action and toil. The harvesting spider is also a subtle hunter, and thus can suggest that stealth might be required in one's endeavors. So, and I'm actually going to go ahead and take that off pretty quickly in case anyone out there has arachnophobia. My apologies. I need to every time I draw that card, I need to remember to say that ahead of time. As you are looking, we see there is a shift in the scene, and I need to just look at one or two of my notes real quick. Because there's something I need to just check to make this work. Okay. So, and it's interesting because I have to look at information for two different characters. Okay. Okay, good. Good. Okay. All right. Okay. So, this is going to be a scene that you're seeing that is taking place in Aroshka's house, which I think you were there before, weren't you? Okay. So this is. Well, I say Aroshka's house. It's actually going to be taking place. It's going to be taking place in not so much in the house as in that observatory that you saw before. And what you can see is you see Aroshka as she was there, standing in front of you, as she just sort of walks over to one of these sort of the panels and is looking through something. And you see in this thing that is kind of like a mirror, but it is clouded. It's sort of, it's not exactly a mirror, it's not exactly a monitor. It's a monitor perhaps shaped like a mirror. You see you see them looking, you see Yeah, you see Arushka looking. You see her looking at a. In that mirror, you see her sort of looking at this, sort of specter-like being. Well, it looks like it's a person, but it's clearly someone who is dead. But they have this cloak, sort of billowing dark cloak. And as this is happening, you see Arushka turn, and again, this is sort of, you're not seeing the whole room. This isn't exactly clear. There's some sort of, there are bits. It's very hazy around the edges. It's very clear this is a vision. You see Arushka turn, and is speaking to someone who their form becomes clear, and it's like, wait, where have I seen this person before? And actually, I'm wondering if you actually have seen this person before or not. I don't think you've actually seen this person directly. I think that we're but the audience, I think, might, after a moment, realize that this is Mayfair. Who was in the House of the Forgotten when they went to see them. I think it was, I'm trying to remember who it was that went into that room. And I know one of them was Aurelia, and the other, I think, might have been, I can't remember who the other person who went into the room with Aurelia was.
No, that was me.
That was you? Okay, so you have seen her. Then this is, you realize, but she's looks differently. She's wearing a sort of a flowing outfit that's kind of multicolored, and her hair is longer, and Arushka turns and is, and you hear her sort of distantly saying, so this is the one you say and is engaging that one Manfred? And Mayfair just sort of responds, yes. Why wouldn't they just do this themselves? Whatever it is that they're engaging that person for. And Mayfair responds, I'm not sure, but it is what I have seen. There is some sort of contest. And they thought it best to, I think, move indirectly. There are a lot of things going on in the background. That I don't think we are privy to. Is there any way you could find out? Well, I can try to look into it, see if it leads anywhere. But the thing is, I don't know if it's a good, if it's not really a good prospect to try to take that mercenary on. He's trying to make a name for himself as some kind of just, I don't know, evil incarnate. It's crazy. I don't think he's that effective. He's just there to mess up people's lives, and it's... if we want to... I mean, if we wanted, we could try and stop what he's doing. Because he's... I know there's like some... I know a little bit. You know, I've heard some rumors about where he comes from, and why he's doing what he's doing, which is very messed up. But I guess to some folks, understandable. It's very personal to him that he has that control, I think. But I mean, do you think that it would? Do you think we should try to get in his way? And Arushka seems to lean back, considering. And she leans forward a bit. She says, "It might be a good idea. Let us see what we can find out about who's pulling his strings." And she just sort of looks over. "Who are you?" she says to the image of the specter. And the image fades. And Mac will find themselves elsewhere. And for just a moment, I am going to, as this episode will be presented slightly differently for various reasons. I am going to take a quick break. As we're at the top of the hour here. And I will be back, and we will be back in just a few minutes. It's just going to be real quick. See you shortly. Hey folks, we're back. Thank you for your patience. And we return you now to the lakeside, somewhere in the Enigma. Mac has gone through the door and vanished. What's everyone else doing?
War watches Mac go through the door and then just kind of goes, and then follows him through.
You have consumed a mint, so you're fine to go through. Who is Vor thinking about that she would like to see?
Vor is thinking about Infolosa, the leader of the Church of Midnight.
Okay. I don't think they've, and now I've been looking at information on Infolosa. I don't know if they've actually described what Infolosa looks like. And
You get to do it.
I think that, how does Vor remember Infolosa?
Oh. Do you want me to make up a description from Infolosa?
Well, yeah, what does Vor remember seeing?
I would say, let's see, they deal in like demons and stuff. Name of the Church of Midnight. I don't know. The image I kind of have in my head is someone who is more void than they are person. Who you can sort of look through and see the abyss, right? Which is, I believe, I can't remember if it's exactly the name they use for like where demons come from, but you know, the space outside the suns, right?
Yeah, like the void, basically, is one term I think they use.
Yep. So basically, someone who is more void than actual person, who you can see through into the darkness, but who is, I mean, this is, you know, Beasley kind of bullshit, but you can still is still a person that you can interact with and talk to.
Okay. Yeah, so you're going to see someone who is essentially is sort of wearing a very elegant void black garment that's gown-like, but your vision just sort of falls into it, and sort of shadows play across her face, and her hair weaves back and forth. As you see her, she has somewhat sharp features. And she stands there, just sort of staring ahead.
And
in the darkness.
Vor's question, which she'll probably say aloud. I don't know if we can do this in the mind, but she'll say it aloud just for funsies. Is, why did you send the rectifier after me?
Okay. Stand by. I'm gonna I'm gonna read the thing first, and then I'm gonna draw a card real quick. Okay. So I'm gonna draw a card real quick to see how this is flavored. I have drawn elusive sleep. It is the 6 of visions. Its meanings are futility, worry, stress, and awareness. The richest noble cannot buy sleep. The strongest among us cannot compel its submission. Even the wisest person might lose a night's rest to anxiety. Still, when we're awake, we are awake. When we're awake, we're aware. Tiny print! When we're awake, we're aware. And that awareness can be crucial. In divination, elusive sleep indicates one is racked with worry, or should be. It might indicate that the stress that one feels is a real detriment, and that whatever is being attempted is utterly futile. Last, this card turn might suggest that the key to success lies in vigilance. Okay. All right. So the scene around you, which is darkness, shifts, and now you can actually see her form a little bit better. And you're standing in a very elegant room that is familiar to you in some way. You are kind of, and you're experiencing a strange sensation because you're kind of watching a thing that you think possibly happened, or you're remembering a thing that possibly happened, because you were here in this scene that is taking place. It is in this room, I should point out, he says as he tries subtly to rub his leg to avoid a cramp. This scene is where it is. It's kind of like I guess we would say it's sort of like a drawing room. But it's clearly in a public building of some kind. So it's like it's a private room that are available to different people. So you have a table here, a wide sort of, it's not quite a conference table, but almost, and some chairs. You have and there's like artwork around the room that kind of shifts as you look at it, and the entrance to the room. Through the entrance to the room, you can see now, from the perspective is shifted, you see Infilosa entering, and behind her you see you catch a brief glimpse of what looks like a room with massive pillars and things inlaid with gold, and some kind of a balcony and things with people sitting at different tables that are these hexagonal tables playing some kind of game. And as she glides in, the door closes behind her, and she's looking at you very severely. And And she says, she says to you, "What do you think you were doing?" And she drifts closer. And you feel as though you're saying something to her, but you can't actually hear what it is that you're saying in response. It's like you're only catching some of the conversation. Also, it's weird. She's not looking right at you, but she's looking at where you're supposed to be. So it's like, you know you're here, but your sense of you is... You can't really see yourself from inside yourself in this memory, if that makes sense. So it like starts out looking directly at you, and then her vision shifts closer to one of the chairs. So it's kind of like, and that continues throughout this conversation. And so of her side, what you're hearing is that, "I cannot tell you what I sacrificed to get you into this game. And you do this? If they've not realized it already, they're about to. I'm going to try to run interference as best I can. But you have to get out of here." "No, that's not... You don't know who we're up against here." "Do you have any idea the magnitude of the forces our opponents represent?" You do not, do you? This is what happens when you enter the grand game. I told you this. This is the kind of thing that can happen. And as it happens, you have been playing against two of the most dangerous forces, representatives thereof, in existence as we know it. You do realize this, don't you? I told you I shall hold them off for as long as I can. I shall hold them for as long as I can. But if you're unable to do something about this, and this sounds ludicrous what you're suggesting to me, but I understand, and I am glad and proud that you're not afraid to do this. But if this doesn't work, I'm going to have to take drastic measures. They can't know what we're doing. Do you understand? Leave this place now. The best thing you could do is forget you ever heard of the grand game. And fog rolls in from the edge of your vision. And you are elsewhere. And now, there are 3 people remaining by the campfire. What would you like to do?
I guess I kind of look around and appraising, see if anybody else wants to go.
I think Shaw's still picking at cheese and walking in circles, trying to figure out how to make a compound question, not two questions. Like, you just hear her muttering to herself and grabbing another piece of cheese and being like, no.
The cheese is delightful.
Well, in that case, I guess I'll head towards the portal.
All right. Arushka, you start heading toward the portal. Are you touching the mints?
Yeah, I'll eat a mint. Just a regular old mint.
Regular mint? Okay. You consume the mint of regularity. And you enter through the portal. And who is Arushka thinking of that she would like to see?
The lady that helped me build all of those weapons, Gilda.
So, Gilda Morgan, as I recall her name was. I'm going to pull up real quick that chapter just to see if they describe her in that, just as a reminder. Yeah, it's basically dressed in a dressed in something not unlike a power suit. It's very in a business suit. And just sort of standing there, sort of almost like pensively in the pose that you see her in. What is your question?
I'm going to ask her, this is a very vague question, but I'm going to ask her, is there a way to fix this?
Is there a way to fix this?
Yeah.
One moment, please. As I reach back into the past. Is there a way to fix this? Okay. All right. I'm going to draw a card. I realize it doesn't come as a surprise that I'm going to draw a card. For some reason, I said it that way. But, let's see what we got. We got the Vizier, the nemesis of notions. His meanings are manipulation, sycophant, power, influence. Lurking in the shadows, the Vizier controls from a distance. They do not sit upon a throne, but instead are the power behind the throne. They don't make laws, they circumvent them. They do it to further the ends of the ruler, the land, or perhaps themselves. The Vizier has secret agendas within agendas. Their smooth words manipulate everyone, even the ruler they supposedly serve. Thus they have much of the real power and influence. Are they acting in the best interests of the ruler or themselves? How can we ever be certain? The Vizier is the nemesis of notions. They cannot be trusted. In divination, someone is manipulating things behind the scenes, and that's almost certainly bad for the person in question. One must look for where the real power is, because this card turn suggests that it isn't where one thinks it is. The vizier can also mean that there is a way for one to manipulate the people involved in one's goals through careful words, clever words, coercion, or extortion. So, as we glance back at the notes one more time, just to see how connected everything is. Okay. You find yourself in a workshop. This is, you think, the workshop of Gilda Morgan. There are a number of there is, it's this looks very much like an office, a room in an office building. There's a drafting table, and there are also, but there, along the side, there are a number of things that look like, it looks kind of, sort of office/workshop type thing. So you see, there are drawings on the walls of different things that actually look similar to the ones that were in your house. Some of them. And you see what look like a couple of cages in the room. And you see what looks like, sitting on a table, there's what looks like a globe-like object that's very similar to an object you recently tried to keep from exploding. And you see Gilda sitting at this draft table, and she's leaning back, and she's sort of in an office chair, and she's looking some things over. Yeah. And as she's doing so, yeah. See, she's leaning forward and she's talking to, you think you? And, again, you can't really hear so much your own dialogue in this exactly. But in a way, you might be able to hear it better just because you kind of have a distinct separation between yourselves, in a way. But a more distinct separation. And she's leaning forward. She's like, I think somebody has been looking in on this. I can't shake. I mean, I've done everything I needed to make sure that we're kind of operating quietly, but I mean, with the, it's and I think taking some of this work, she says, looking over, and trying to apply it to hypotheticals is really not. It's exciting, but it's also It's also kind of strange and dangerous, and I think I can understand why. I think I can understand why Shaw didn't want to be involved with it. But why she wanted to stop her designs on these things. But I think that, in the time since then, just sort of after looking over this, I think there have been. I feel like there are eyes on it from somewhere. I don't know. But, and the problem is, and this is incredibly annoying, all I have is a feeling to go on. But it's like, how do I even describe what this is like? This is very difficult for me, you understand. No, it'll be done. We'll get it done. But have you considered that there is something beyond all this peering in that we might let in if we're not careful? Okay. Yes, I can put in a failsafe. I think. Again, it's very difficult to know what kind of failsafe when we're dealing with hypotheticals. I'd need something from the place beyond where we're trying to reach, which is impossible. I don't know, maybe if you can come up with a way to communicate, I don't know, that would let you see beyond the edge or something. Okay, I know that look. You have an idea, don't you? Get me that, and I will build in a failsafe. I'll do my best. Just give me. I'm gonna need specs of some kind. If you can at least give me a rough idea, a vague idea of what lies beyond this edge you've been talking about, then I can try to work with that. Yeah, I know, but if you want that, she says, gesturing at the cage, to have a failsafe, this is what I need. And once again, the sides of the vision roll in, and you will find yourself elsewhere. Back at the campfire, 2 people remain. What are you doing?
How many of these mints are there exactly?
There is an indefinite number of mints.
Antino's probably taking, like, one of every color.
Oh yeah,
mashing
that's
them
totally
together.
cool. Yeah.
Mashing together into one giant mint. And then attempting to eat that. Because they can't decide which one to eat.
Awesome. Yeah, so you do that and you mash them together, and the taste is interesting. It's very sweet. And so it's a mash of dark chocolate and white chocolate and regular chocolate and strawberry and mint, very minty. You sort of take a moment. Takes you a minute to eat it. But you have done so. Do you then proceed through the gate? Or are you just going to stand there appreciating the mints? You can do that too.
I think Shantanu would just look over at Shaw, just shrug and walk through.
You walk through. Who does Shantanu think about that they would like to see?
Originally, I was going to go with one thing, but then I realized that they want to speak to someone who knows more about the collapsing conundrum, so they want to speak to Igthamad.
So you walk into this void, and you see a very large spider. She's a little pale, as I recall. Sort of standing there. Currently, she's about the size of a horse. Standing very still.
It's not terrifying.
What is Shantanu's question?
Will I find what I'm looking for in the collapsing conundrum?
Does Shantanu have anything in particular in mind in terms of what they are looking for? I'm asking you that out of character more than anything else.
Yeah, it's more like the final answer to who they are. You know, like the final piece of self-discovery.
Okay. Drawing a card. All right. The card I have drawn is the Ghostly Presence. It is the Seven of Mysteries. Its meanings are the past, guilt, unresolved issues. We all have our ghosts. They haunt us, both metaphorically and, of course, literally. We can become weighed down by our past sins, our unrequited feelings, our unresolved issues. As humans, we crave closure, but is such a thing ever truly possible? The Ghostly Presence suggests that it is not. There's always something from our past that will arise later to remind us of the wrongs of long ago. In divination, something from the past, perhaps something forgotten, arises in the present. The most typical interpretation is that this ghost from the past will give the person in question trouble, but it's possible that the reminder of the past is not entirely negative. Jim checks his notes. You are going to see things shift. You're going to see something that the scene you're going to see is one that you do not remember, but you have the distinct impression that whatever this is you're seeing hasn't happened yet, if it's going to. Or this could be purely hypothetical. in a chamber of some kind. And you see Igthamad standing in this chamber. There is a circle that looks like it's a summoning circle around her. There is also what looks like an orb drifting in midair. It looks like a vortex you can't even really see. When you look at it, it's like everything is pulled toward the center. It's like a black hole that's spherical, if such a thing could possibly exist. There are pillars atop which are braziers burning in this strange room. And you see there's something Igthamad is doing. She's moving her appendages about in such a way as like it's kind of like she's spinning something, but she's not spinning silk exactly. She's spinning lines of force in the air. And she looks at this pattern that she has spun and just sort of pulls back, sort of staring at it. And she looks beyond it at the globe. She moves her hands, hands, front legs, her mandibles clacking. And this pattern moves toward this sphere. And as she does so, she sort of looks and you see it sort of kind of rotating around. It sort of rotates around the sphere for a moment and then moves in front of it directly between you and it. And you see the symbol slowly being absorbed into it. And you see her just sort of looking up. I know you are here. And I know that this is not me, but an image you have summoned forth of me, but I have decided to take advantage of that. She turns until she is looking directly at you. She says, Shantino. I know you are there. I I sense it. You are within the enigma. You seek answers. Want to find yourself. As though anything can be traced one place to another. I can answer your question, but you have not yet, nor have your friends, given me what I am owed. So I will merely tell you. You can use what you have seen in this place to try to find your answer. But know that once your answer is found, it will not satisfy you. But if you want true finality, I can provide that as well. But you will need to fulfill your end of the bargain. A piece of a demon. Provide that, and I shall give you the most direct path along your voyage of the soul to what you seek. The demon's name is Segildrach. And that sound, that name, echoes in your mind, and you feel yourself shattering, as you often do. As everything is consumed in darkness, the last thing you hear, her voice fading away. Don't take much longer now. Forces are in motion, and it may soon be too late. Let's see how you do. And you find yourself suddenly elsewhere. I would like, if we may, at this time, to take one more brief break, after which we shall return and see what Shaw asks. We'll be back in just a few minutes, folks, for the conclusion. See you shortly. Hello. We have returned. We find ourselves once more down by the lake. At night. Fire burning. Remnants of a fondue. There. Cheese plate nearly finished. Little plate full of mints. A portal and Shaw.
I think Shaw takes a minute and sort of stretches and just kind of enjoys being in the outside-ish. And then she walks over to the tree that's still open. And she reaches into a cup holder and pulls out like this kind of crappy ceramic coffee mug that says like, I don't know. It's like it's a memento from some sort of amusement park in Florida, and she then just like takes these doors and they close with that satisfying heavy ambulance door kerchunk, and she walks away with the coffee cup. She picks up one of the mints and pops it in her mouth and walks towards this gate.
Awesome.
And as she passes inside, the person that she thinks of is the foreman.
Okay. Just a quick check here real quick as I'm looking at this. All right, good. So, you enter this darkness. The portal is light and then you're suddenly in darkness. And you see an image of the foreman standing there, sort of looking pensive, wearing his work clothes, as he always is wearing. Looking ahead.
This is for you. She hands him the coffee cup. It might just be an idea of a coffee cup, but I think you're just an idea of you, so I think it's okay.
And he's not like doing anything, but since you're sort of, since you imagine him taking it, he does take it.
There's so many people that I've run into that seem to know me from the past and act like they don't know me at all. You're the only person that knows me from the past that acts like they know me. And there's a trust with that. So I want to ask you, what is the part of me that I've forgotten that is most important for me to regain to go forward?
Okay. I'm going to draw a card. This is the card that rests on the invisible sun. And the card is the dangerous elixir. It is the one of notions. Its meanings are power, transformation, risk, consequences. Powerful magic comes in small, perhaps even innocuous forms. The dangerous elixir proves that to be true. It is powerful and transformative, but is it a boon or a bane? Are the potion's effects harmful or helpful? It's all about the risk you're willing to take and the consequences you're willing to face. In divination, this card offers power, but at a risk. Power can backfire. The dangerous elixir promises transformation, and that can be literal or figurative. It might transform a situation, changing the outcome of events, but there's still always that risk. Something's going to change, but will it be good or bad for the person in question? Should one turn the alchemist and dangerous elixir consecutively, this is called the ultimate transformation, and it suggests total and complete upheaval of the situation and possibly someone involved in it. Okay. And I just want to make sure I remember your question correctly. This is, what part of yourself do you need to remember to be most whole? Is that right?
No.
No?
What part of me that I've forgotten is most important for me to remember to go forward?
To go forward. Gotcha. All right. All right. Going forward. Okay. Okay. Sorry, there are a couple of things that I just need to... There are a couple of blocks I need to click into place in my head real quick. As this is happening. Yes. Okay. I think what you're going to see is something that something that you think did not actually that did not happen. So again, this is a conceptual thing potentially, and you feel it's like the two of you, you and the foreman, are sitting at a draft table somewhere, and you're looking at a very complicated design that actually is reminiscent of the sorts of designs that the foreman was working on when you last saw him. Also, there are other designs sort of that are similar to things that you spotted inside the big machine. Unending, eternal, massive, ongoing, infinite machine. And it's not exactly a conversation that is happening.
Mm-hmm.
But he's sort of looking in your generally in your direction, but it's like he's talking to a version of you that's there and not there. As he's working on some things, he says, "Okay, yeah, I can move this over here." And this is the so this is the one, and he sort of what he's looking at, he says, "This is the one that's gonna really be kind of the most important part of this. If we can somehow figure out a way to do this while taking that element out, right?" Yeah, but I mean, it's like it's a thing you got. Sometimes you got to do this stuff on the fly, right? Hang on, where? And he just sort of looks over, and he looks over at somewhere that he hasn't looked at maybe before, and he picks up a folder that you recognize, because it's one of your folders. And he sort of looks up. It's in here. He sort of opens it up, and you can see there are drawings in there that you haven't looked at in a very long time. And he sort of is flipping through them. And so... Yeah, I can see it. Yeah, you were working down one avenue, and then you changed it. Looks like even while you were doing it? Yeah. Right. Yeah, and I get that this is so it's good. Yeah, this is totally something you can do. Yeah, you can if you need to with something like this. He says, gesturing at the draft table again. If you can be flexible. And actually see where things are changing. I mean, I guess it's a lot to keep up with, but it's something that it looks like you're capable of. Yeah, these were these I mean, these got passed in through the guild, yeah? Yeah. He says, referring to the folder again. Says, yeah. So I guess the thing to remember here is, at the very least, something that I keep forgetting, is that if you make something, if you have to, you can always unmake it. You know exactly how it works, so you know exactly how to. So I mean, I'd try to see if you can apply that to whatever, to this whenever she picked up this project from you. I don't think she was able to do that, and so that's why part of the reason why we're in this situation exactly the way we are. But since you created the foundation for some of that, I think you're more than capable of getting us out of it. I really do. And he will reach forward and he will pull a page out and he will hold it out to you.
Take it.
And you're able to take it. And he said, and he just sort of, then he looks directly at you and he says, "Good luck." And the corners of your vision once again collapse inward, and as this sort of mist rolls in, everyone is going to find themselves once again at the entrance of the town of Carmenth. And you see, once again, the conductor is going back, is sort of leaning out of the train. All aboard, everyone! We're getting ready to take off.
Ooh. Vor's gonna quickly hop back on the train.
Yeah, Mac jogs back in.
That took longer than expected.
Was an exceptionally informative brunch, though.
That is true.
Brunch always takes longer than expected. It's like a basic property of brunch, I think.
Is it really brunch if it doesn't take the entire morning into the afternoon?
Good point.
The only thing you do.
I think it technically tasted good.
I don't know. After that final trip, I felt a little unsated.
Well, we could go get a snack on the train.
If we could go to the dining car, I have a bit of a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah,
Sounds
maybe
like
they
there are a lot
have. So maybe they have more of that ice, the train ice.
Ooh,
Train
maybe
on.
we talked.
Am I holding this piece of paper on the other side still?
You are.
Okay. I'm gonna lag just a little bit and pull out my my magic sketchbook and create an image of it in there so that it's in there as like a backup, and then fold it up and stick it in some sort of metal thing. Metal pocket.
I was gonna say pocket word you want.
Awesome. So the train proceeds. It's about another day without incident, as you get to see the landscape thinning out more and more, and farmland, hills, things of that nature. That too. Cats, herds of cats roaming across the plains. And eventually, you see coming, sort of looking out the window, you see the train aimed at this area that's, as you're kind of on a hill, as you're coming down, you can see it, this area full of quarries, rock quarries. And next to, the last of the hills. Where you see, particularly actually on one of these last hills, you see, just sort of right near the town, you see this big sort of Gothic-looking house. And as the train is nearing the station, and you're looking through, and you've been through the train, there are only 2 other passengers left besides yourselves here. One is a sort of a younger fellow who has introduced himself as Abel. He's dressed similarly to the fellow that you met that sent you here in the first place. So very simply dressed. Just in his traveling clothes and a suit and a single suitcase. And the other passenger that's still on the train at this point is the Duchess.
Oh, is she out here at this point?
She actually will come into the car where you folks currently are. Which could be any of the cars, really.
Is that? It's obviously the dining car. Of course.
Oh, yeah, it's the dining car. Let's not fool ourselves.
Let's be real. Shaw will point out the window at the big house and be like, "Is that your family home?"
Oh, yes, there it is, she says, gesturing with her fan. And you see she's looking sort of a little bit antsy as she's sort of hovering at your table.
Are you still nervous? Should we walk you there?
I was wondering if perhaps you might, she says. I was thinking that perhaps that even though you have dealt with the immediate threat, it is entirely possible that there may still be someone waiting at the last moment to attempt to kill me again. And I would very much prefer that not to be the case. Would you mind?
Not at all. We'd also like you to not be murdered.
I do appreciate that. It seems that, well, there may be certain issues, and I worry I've sensed something. I don't know exactly what it is, but there are, shall we say, movements in the, and she sort of gestures vaguely at the air. That I can't fully describe, but I felt there's a shift of some kind going on. And I'm very concerned how things in the house might have been affected, because things inside the house, when I was last there, which was some time ago, I was alive at the time, for the first time, it was, shall we say, rather... the way things were left in there, certain things were a bit theoretical, and I want to make sure that they were properly nailed down before I left.
Huh.
So to be, if you lot would be so kind, I should very much appreciate an escort.
Just sort of look around at my friends. Well,
Of course.
do that, right?
It's the least that we can do.
Yeah, we can walk her there and then go look for Goodman Jones, and yeah.
Yeah, it's just right there.
It's no trouble at all.
Thank you all very much. I very much appreciate it. So you will pull into the station. The train is slowing down, and it will pull into the station finally. Conductor will be coming through as the train slows to a halt. We are pulling into the station. Everyone please prepare to disembark. And everything is stopped, and you can see this, it's not a big train station, it's not even an inside train station, it's outside. You see this big sort of old-fashioned train platform that's out there. Is there anything you folks want to do before you get off the train?
I would like to ask Abel, I think I already would have asked, but if he has heard anything about this strange form of bewilderment that people in his town have been under.
He sort of shrugs. He when you ask him that, and he'll as you sort of lean forward, he'll say, "No, I'm not sure. I'm just I haven't heard anything about that. I've been away for a while. Actually, I've never really, to tell the truth, I've never actually been here to Yestervale itself.
Oh.
I mean, I know the basics, but I've this will be kind of a new thing for me as well. My sister probably would be better to know about that. She's I mean, I'm going to visit her. When I get in town, if you like, I can ask.
That would be lovely. Maybe we could stop by for coffee or something. And we have to look for. We were sent here by someone called Goodman Jones.
Oh yeah, yes. I think I think I saw him from time. He's sometimes. I didn't get to see him recently, but he comes into town from time to time on his circuit. Yeah, no, it's it's my sister's name is Emma Wellison. And yes, I'll be staying with her.
Oh, wonderful. Well, maybe we'll see you later then.
Maybe. But yeah, no, it's, if I see you in town, definitely, if I have a chance to chat with her, I'll definitely let you know.
All right. That's all I wanted to do.
Okay. Was there anything anyone else had wanted to do prior to disembarking or at some point on this journey?
Vor will pull Shah aside and say, Shah, you still have that woman in there, right? And she points at your cage.
Yes.
And you can ask questions?
I can. It's risky. But I can. There's always the chance that it could harm her in some way, but I can, because she's in the cage, I can kind of go into her mind, sort of like you do, but I think not as nice, and find things out.
I mean, I don't want you to do this if you're uncomfortable doing it. But if you're willing, would you mind asking if she knows anything about something called the Grand Game?
The Grand Game. Is that a Vespertine thing?
I don't know, but I'm curious to see.
I mean, if it's very important, I'll of course ask.
It could be really important.
Okay, let me ask then. I can do that. I'm gonna look for my ability. Hold on. I think that it's just that I spend a whole bunch of. Yeah, so I just spend a whole bunch of sorcery, and then I roll one die, and if I get a 0, then she dies.
Excellent.
And if I don't get a 0, then she answers my question.
Okay.
Or I know the answer to the question.
Awesome.
To the best of her knowledge. I rolled a 3, so we did not murder her.
Excellent.
Which is good. So I'm gonna spend a bunch of sorcery and then probably rest around and refresh it because I don't know where we're off to. And I'm going to ask, what is in your head about, was it the Grand Game or the Great Game?
Grand Game.
What is in your mind about the Grand Game?
Okay. So you kind of hear this sort of tortured response as your cage extracts the knowledge from her. And exclusive to exclusive quiet, only whispered of. There are those that have connection to the void who participate. I don't know where they do it. I don't know how they do it. But I hear it is high rulers, and our interest was with those who have connection to the void with it. But there are others who have connections to other things, other forces who play it. Connections to the suns, connections everywhere. Connections to the largest of spirits, connections to the largest of souls. Connections to everything that matters. They play this grand game. And Infolosa is a player. And most likely other darker things. They have a hand in it too. Things from the void have a hand in it. And probably seek to usurp it, but that is just a guess. And that's everything she knows about the grand game.
I relay this as directly as I can. But with like a little bit more emotion of my emotion. So like when I say Infolosa is a player, I'm like, Infolosa's a player. Like, you should be concerned.
Yeah.
Here's my big news for you. That Infolosa is a player of the game.
You say that and Vor doesn't react at all. And of course, Vor has a great poker face because she was a professional poker player, right? So you don't know, like, you'd expect this to be like surprising, but like if Vor's surprised, she does not let on that she is.
And I think Shaw's like, okay, that seemed like big news to me. And creatures beyond the void, which I guess might be, you know, from over the thing, that they might be trying to usurp the game.
Okay.
But I don't know, Vor. This game sounds really scary. I think if this is something you're looking into playing, I don't think it's a good idea.
I think it's something I have played.
Oh.
But I'm not sure yet.
Did you win?
Sha. I always win.
Okay.
And then yeah, that's all that's what I wanted.
Did anyone else have anything they wanted to take care of before this happens?
Yeah, Mac is going to walk beside Aroshka, and he is just going to say, when we get back to Saturnine, I need you to come with me to the House of the Forgotten.
Again?
Yeah.
Oh. Something to do with that weird restaurant?
No. There was something that pre-war you and Mayfer had conferred on, and I would like that information.
Oh. Yeah. Okay. Well, we can try and get in there again. Sounds like a fun excursion.
Doesn't it? I mean, we could totally avoid it too if you happen to know where you prior self might have, say, tucked away some information on influential people in the city?
I feel like it probably would have been in the house that we blew up. It was very secure location for information until we blew it up. We could go back and check. I mean, maybe some stuff survived. I didn't really look after the explosion. We just left. But yeah.
So, point of order, it wasn't we. It wasn't that we blew this up.
Okay. Well, I tried to fix it. Anyways,
Yeah.
the point is it blew up. If I had any sensitive information, it probably would have been in the giant book. It was a really secure location in the past when I lived there.
Well, then we'll just have to see if Mayfair knows where a second copy of it might have been stored.
Sorry, I don't remember more about the past.
I mean, it's fine. I'm sure you had your reasons for. I'm sure you had your reasons for hiding away your former self, but
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did. But I'm not sure they were good reasons.
well, I mean, you could always try to unlock that. So, I personally don't believe that the old you was so bad.
Well, thanks. I guess when we had that weird vision question thing, seemed to suggest that past me at least sort of thought that maybe the things that I was working on were really awful and maybe included a failsafe, so that's nice. Good thing to learn about myself.
Yeah, but I believe your past self was also working on something else that I'm very interested in.
Oh?
He doesn't respond. He's just going to leave it at that.
Okay. Cool. I hope it wasn't evil, whatever it was. All right, well.
He still didn't respond to that.
I mean, that tracks, honestly.
Okay. So is there anything anyone wants to, anything else? So is there anything Shantano wants to do before
Yeah, Shantano wants to go take a corner booth to themselves and finally get that message over to Murder.
Okay. And what do you want to send?
So it's gonna be like, hey, I know it's been a while since we've talked or anything, but yeah, I guess I finally got a way for us to communicate. I've been sitting on this message I was supposed to give you from the Imminent. Says the time is now. Afterward, if all things are good, they want to meet up and they have plenty to discuss. So yeah. I think you can respond to this. So, if you ever want to talk or anything, just message me. Yeah, okay, bye.
I'm going to draw a card real quick.
That just felt like a 90s voicemail.
I I remember leaving voicemails like that. So the card that I've drawn, let me actually open it up so that I see what it is. The card that I've drawn is the Whispering Lover. The one of visions, meanings, love, romance, partnership, loved ones, relationships. Love represents the strongest of bonds, romance, family, and deep friendship. The intimacy inherent in the whispers of a lover is rare and valuable. We seek love, and once we have it, we fight to keep it. The Whispering Lover represents those people in our lives that are most important to us. It doesn't have to suggest romance. There are many kinds of positive relationships one can have in their life. The Whispering Lover always suggests a bond in place, or one that will form very soon, but it can be a positive one or a negative one. Depending on other cards played, this might suggest that the relationship in question remains strong, ends, faces challenge, and so on. This card turn essentially just brings the relationship into play. So, you're going to get a response back, actually, fairly soon. Murder doesn't speak in the way we understand usually, but you're going to get impressions that are sent back. You get impressions of gratitude, and also thanks, and also the impression of the idea that you've just given murder something very important to consider. And there's something of a question there about cats, and also about any potential interest in, discussing's the wrong word, reflecting on the results of whatever it is murder is now going to have to go and do. Well, the cat's certainly interested. What about Shantanu?
Like Shantanu is interested, but they're taking time to try and translate what it all means.
Yeah.
And they're thinking to themselves, they just ask if I want to go join them on a murder?
It was very light on details about whatever the thing is that murder has to go and do. You're sort of in chat, it's like, hey, it's me, Murder, I gotta go do a work thing. Want to hang out after that? That's kind of what that was. That's basically what that was. So Shantanu just going to take some time and mull it over?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So, was that everybody? Was that everything? Okay. You get off the train, and you see leading off of the platform and this little station, there is a road that goes in a couple of directions. One goes up to the hills, and the other goes down into the quarries. Down into the quarries is where you can see the town. Up on the hills is where you see the house. There is a carriage there on the road, an old-fashioned carriage. It's a pretty big carriage, and the Duchess heads forward, and it doesn't appear to have a driver, but it opens, and the Duchess steps inside and gestures for all of you to follow.
I hop up. I kind of take a look at the carriage as I come in and kind of like get an idea of how it works because I'm a nerd, but I'm not gonna delay.
Yeah, magical device. It drives itself. Self-driving carriage.
Self-driving carriage. How novel. A horseless carriage, even.
It looks actually there are places for horses, but the horses, you can't actually see horses, so it probably does something to create horses when it gets going.
Then I climb in a place with a window so I can see outside.
Yeah, you can see. Does everybody get in the carriage?
Yeah, Mac will climb in and sit opposite of Shah. He will look suitably impressed, but then he will just say something like, well, not as fancy as getting carried by an angel or anything.
Vor hops in and pulls out her champagne flute. Just sort of like lounges in one corner.
Like Shantano, wait, is this just like bench seats, or like how long is this?
It's bench seats type deal, but it's wider than a regular carriage, at least on the inside. So you have plenty of room.
Bigger on the inside.
Just a bit.
Shantano goes to a window seat and just stares wistfully out.
Awesome.
Aroshka's gonna climb in and sit next to Shah.
Cool. So those of you who are looking out the windows can see these horses that the Duchess will sort of tilt her fan, and the horses appear. They are spectral looking. You can see right through them. They look like these sort of light-colored ghost horses, almost, one might say. And the carriage takes off. It's sort of rumbling back and forth. And you're drawn away from the station, where you can see the train has reached its terminus, and they're working on the train. It's the end of the line. The carriage pulls around the hills and goes up on an incline toward the big hill with the big house on top of it. Big sort of Gothic looking house. Shingled roof, pillars. The carriage comes up and pulls around. It's like an estate. It pulls around in front of the house, and the doors open. And everyone starts piling out. The Duchess actually, as she's stepping out, she'll say, would you accompany me for just a little bit longer? I can have the carriage take you back after we're done here.
Of course.
So she heads up the steps of the house to the front door. She's you all are kind of presumably stepping out of the carriage and coming up with her.
Mm-hmm.
And she's sort of looking around back and forth. It doesn't look like there's a soul here. It looks very old, and the house looks very old, and there are broken windows that you can't really see through. Very old and bedraggled, this house. And she looks at this, in a state of slight disrepair. Now, I need to check on some things, but you may come in. But first, I just need to go inside and deactivate some of the security protocols, if you don't mind terribly. I shall be just a moment.
Okay. Be careful.
Oh, I shall be. I definitely shall be. Unfortunately, I have to do this myself. Here we go. And the door opens. She opens the door, and you only see really darkness beyond for a moment. She steps through. And a few seconds later, the door opens again. She steps out and slams it behind her. As she just sort of looks forward, shocked. Kind of with her back against the door. She's like, oh my goodness.
This seems like a strange thing to say to you, but you look like you've seen a ghost.
Well, I don't know what's happened. Exactly. But it's just treacherous. Someone has taken the inside of my house and replaced it with another, much larger building, and there are a bunch of people in there having some kind of a party. And that is where we're going to conclude this phase of Invisible Sun, The Edge of Paradox.
We found it!
Hey!
Wow.
Our strategy of not actually looking worked.
Good news, guys! I didn't punt my ex-girlfriend into the void.
Well, folks, thank you all so very much. I'd like to thank everyone who's been hanging on with us for the year that this campaign has been going. I very much appreciate everyone's patience, those of you who have. But still welcome those who jumped in part way. Thanks very much. And we're going to go on hiatus for a little while, and I'll get into that in a moment. But as to kind of the sort of the duration and everything, we don't know exactly what the duration is, but I'll get into that in a little bit. But first, we are going to go around and do our outros. And
Despair too.
also joy and despair. Yes, thank you. Thank you for the reminder. This is important. I am going to also, before I forget, let me go to the right page. I'm going to award one acumen for completing the journey. So everybody gets an acumen. We're going to go around and check on joy and despair. And so we're going to start once again with Djinnaya. Do you think Shah got any joy or despair today?
She absolutely gets a joy for discovering a plan that she didn't have to work for. That's hers. It's like the hardest part of the job, and it's all done for her. So, yeah.
Excellent.
Good old-fashioned thanks past me.
Yeah.
And Wilde, do you think Shantanu got a joy or a despair today?
The sense of longing, joy, or despair?
It's a great question.
Honestly, just combined with that and news from Ikthama, that it's a despair.
Gotcha. Yeah. I can definitely see it leaning that way. And Arras, do you think Eroshka got a joy or a despair today?
I think between finding out that she maybe wasn't as evil as she thought she was, and that she didn't punt her ex-girlfriend into the void, Eroshka's feeling pretty joyous right now.
Excellent. And Anino, do you think Mac got a joy or a despair today?
I'm going to say despair because he still has not been able to solve the dark-eyed Manfred thing. And the fact that he learned two things. One, that he was associated with pre-war Eroshka and a more deeper connection than he had initially thought. And two, his only hope in gaining the information he wants is with a less than stable guest shall we say, at the House of the Forgotten.
That's fair.
That message that she whispered still haunts me. Axton is the street.
Yep. Questions lead to more questions. Danielle, do you think Vor got a joy or a despair today?
Shocking no one, I'm going to say Vor got a despair for learning that she might possibly have been working for the Church of Midnight, at minimum working with Infilosa on something big, that apparently she screwed up in some major way and is now maybe on the bad side of two of the most powerful forces of creation. None of this is good.
No. Excellent. Excellent. All right, folks. Well, here we are. We are at the end, and we're going to go ahead and go around and do our outros. Feel free once again to say what, plug whatever you like, tell folks where they can find you, and then give any final impressions you may have about this session and anything else you'd like to say about the campaign up until now. And we are going to start, as is our wont, from reverse order from our introductions, and we shall start with Danielle.
Hey everybody, I'm Danielle. I'm at RyRacontor on Twitter, where you can follow me for all kinds of nerdy stuff, books, games, TV, movies, cosplay, you name it, probably into it. You can catch me on Fridays on Roll 4 Change, it's the number 4, on Twitch, where we are playing Star Wars Vagabonds, a game using the Fate system. We're currently on Nar Shaddaa, which is the city planet above the homeworld of the Hutts, and we are in the process of trying to spring some Twi'leks from a harem, and they have bombs on their necks, and it's going great. So you should definitely come see us hopefully not explode next week. And as far as things I love this game, and I really, really, really enjoyed this train arc. I thought we had a really nice collection of personal moments, but also, the satisfaction of that one fight, which we don't do a lot of fighting in this game, so those moments really stand out. So I'm excited to see what happens now that we've found the party again.
Me too. Excellent, excellent. All right, and now over to Anino.
How's it going, everyone? My name is Anino. You can find me on Twitter at Anino Gaming. You can catch me here tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Time for another exciting episode of Dark Matter, Ghosts of Saltma. We just wrapped up a fun little babysitting job in the menagerie. So we're going to get back to our real adventure soon. As far as Invisible Sun goes, this has been a really fun campaign. It's my first long-form campaign on stream, so I'm glad that my level of knowledge of Invisible Sun has increased by about 10% over the span of 1 year. And really, that 10% is all thanks to Djinnaya, with her helpful spreadsheet on how to level up your character.
So helpful. That was so freaking helpful.
So, but yeah, I like where everything had gone in this, and the fact that we keep getting answers and then more questions is very maddening. Very, very maddening.
Yep. Well, maybe when we come back, the balance will tip. We'll see. One never knows. And over to Arras.
Hello, I'm Arras, or Animus Panthera. I'm Animus Panthera, Animus Panthera practically everywhere, but I'm mostly on Twitter. The only place you can normally find me gaming on the internet is here on Sundays, but we're obviously taking a hiatus, so in the future times. And also, I'm giving away a set of dice every month this year. I just posted literally today because I forgot for the past 8 days the August giveaways. If you want to win some free dice, you can go check that out. Otherwise, I love talking about animals, cosplay, and gaming.
Yay! And were there? Did we do anything else, or was there any other thoughts about the game or session, or did we already do that? I'm sorry,
No, we didn't. I forgot. This I personally love the ending of this session. So excited. I don't know. I just had a really fun time. I feel like this is one of the longest running campaigns that I've been in. It's definitely the longest one that I've streamed. This has kind of been an exciting experience. Had a lot of fun. Can't wait to come back.
Yay! Awesome. And over to Wilde.
Yes, hello. I'm Wilde, at Wilde Engineer on Twitch and Twitter. Right now, you could find me on Encounter Roleplay on Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern for some Cthulhu Dark Ages. That's pretty fun. I play just a humble merchant who is totally above board, as usual. Yeah, so just come visit me on Twitter to see about that and any other projects I may be doing in the future. I really love this campaign. It's been great being able to actually change Shantano from honestly, he was kind of an asshole at the beginning, and now he's slowly becoming a possibly not bad person. And yeah, all the food has been great, and just playing with all y'all. I love it.
Yay! Me too. Awesome. And finally over to Djinnaya.
Hello, my name is Djinnaya. I make art and play good games with nice people. You can find me on Thursday at 2 p.m. Pacific on my channel, where I will be playing the second section of my solo game of 1,000-Year-Old Vampire. Please come hang out and chat, because I'm really terrible at being a vampire and I need help with things like, how do you destroy a body? It was apparently very comforting to my friends who were in chat last week that I don't know how to do that. So yeah, I'm bad at murder. Come help me. Gosh, this game has been great. I was so excited to play Invisible Sun, and then we started playing and I was like, my God, this game is so hard and complicated. And it was really fun to kind of get into, have the time to really get into the mechanics of the game and the feel of it. I'm really enjoying that we seem to be coming to an aesthetic, between the train and then the haunted house on the hill. There's definitely some kind of weird surrealist Agatha Christie vibe going on, and I love it. So I'm excited to do the next run of it, and now that I kind of have more of a handle on the game, start really pulling together all of our clues into some kind of elaborate Agatha Christie chart. Oh, and that spreadsheet is actually from Ethan. Just to be clear, that is Ethan's spreadsheet. But yes.
Yes, that's right. You see through. Yeah, thank you all so much for playing this and coming along on my mad brain journeys. I very much appreciate it, and I'm very much looking forward to the next part. But as for me, this has been an absolute joy to run. I've very much loved the freedom that this setting gives you to just sort of mess around. I love the Sooth deck and how you can just sort of use it to improvise so many things. And I really enjoyed this plot and seeing the characters develop, and I just sort of bouncing the story ball back and forth between all the different characters, and so sort of turning thing a little bit, and then getting it back, throwing it out, and getting it turned around in another direction, and getting it thrown back, and it's been glorious, and I've really enjoyed that, and I'm very much looking forward to returning to it. Right now, though, I need to slow things down on the channel more than I had thought I was going to need to, because not only certain psychological things have been coming up that I need to sort of deal with in terms of bandwidth, but then also it's just as far as just working through some things and figuring out some things about kind of stuff I want to do with this channel, and then figuring out the whole how to apply energy to it, and how much energy and how much is available and all that. And then also physically, because there's been some medical stuff I've been going through again more recently that's tied to stuff that I was going through a while ago. And I am just needing to see where things go with that, and try to make sure that I've got everything sorted enough that I can reasonably come back and do more. So at this point, mostly folks are going to see me playing in games more than anything else. There are still going to be games on this channel. Right now, I'm not seeing any reason to halt that necessarily. It may affect the schedule somewhat depending on how things are going and how I'm feeling on any particular day, as far as just physically. So there may be some variations there, but hopefully there are signs of improvement at the moment. Knock on wood, we'll see. I don't know. This is all still fairly new territory for me, even though it's connected to things that I thought I knew about a while ago, and I'm learning new things all the time. So we will see how things go. But we will get there sooner or later. So the hiatus is for an indefinite period. I don't know exactly when or how soon we'll be able to come back, but it will happen. I just need to get all the ducks in a row first, and just get to a point where we can get things rolling again. So in the meantime, you can find me at OtherDoc on both Twitch and Twitter, and my website is JimYesThatJim.com, where you can find my Geek Observation podcast and links to my various other podcasts, audio dramas, writings, and such. I have links down below to my website, Twitter, YouTube channel, and some of my fiction and games I've been working on, along with links to game signups and applications to join our Discord. Right now, there aren't any signups going on, obviously, but once I get things sorted, there will be. So tomorrow night, provided everything's together, it's always a little weird when I do two streams, even in stream 2 days in a row at this point, but hopefully tomorrow. But then Sundays at 7ish Eastern, we have our Dark Matter campaign, our wonderful Dark Matter campaign, run by Origami Shuriken, who's in chat. Hello. Run by Alyssa. It is basically, it's space fantasy, far future fantasy with space tropes. It is glorious. On Monday nights, I am over on Salty Sweet Games playing in their fantasy campaign, Strange Invasion. It's a fantasy world dealing with an alien invasion. So delightful science fantasy there elements as well, so always looking forward to that. And that's it for right now. That's everything that is currently happening. Soon, later in the month, hopefully, if everything works out okay, and I'm able to get things right, I can do the stream, I'm going to be playing in a new game that's going to be happening on Thursday nights. It's a game called Spell, created by Taylor, or Whimsy Machine, Whimsy Machine on Twitter, and he's going to be here running the game, a specific subsetting for the game called Witch Hunt. It's a mini campaign that I believe takes place during the Salem witch trials, and is going to deal with some pretty heavy stuff, but I'm very excited to see what his take on this whole thing is. And so very much looking forward to that. So look for that soon. There may be something else that might come up in a little while, also on the weekends, but we'll see. We'll have to see how things go, and again, just keep gauging everything. I gotta move slowly right now as I'm sorting things out. So hopefully soon we'll have something on that. Eventually, when I get back to the point that I can run again, then is when I will start opening up signups once again for things that I'm going to be running. Still planning on doing an Urban Shadows campaign. Still planning on doing other stuff, more one-shots, and there are plans in the works also for more guest GMs to come in that we shall solidify sometime soon. As for right now, again, no signups are currently running, but they will once I can kind of get back to the point that I feel like I can do that. But when we hit the end card, we are going to send a raid. Let's see. So, I think I'm going to send a raid over to Featherfall because they have a session 1 going on, and one of their players appears to be a puppet, so I'm very excited to see what that is. So we're going to go over there and say hi to them. Feel free to hang on if you are so inclined and say hi to them with us. That again will be when we hit the end card. In the meantime, folks, thank you all very much for watching, whether now or on YouTube or on the VODs on Twitch. Very much appreciate it. It is glorious that this is a thing people can do. Take care, and we'll see you all of a sudden. Farewell.